or just make them be really far away from the ruin progression. And we're gonna actually be abusing the combo part a lot. Because what this run's gonna be about mostly, aside from warping, which is a very strong glitch I will show you later, is animation cancelling. We're gonna be cancelling basically anything we do. And this thing I'm watching right now is like a minute for long cutscene. There's no real way of skipping it. We have a hacked save file on the community, but since it's actually a save file, I'm not sure or anything, I didn't really want to do it. So yeah, even though I have control here, nothing I do matters. And once I actually skip the cutscene, like timer will start. This is actually a good point to explain that even though the game was made by a single person, it's actually like programmed decently well. So even though there are strong glitches, the game doesn't usually crash or anything like that, like you will expect from a single person. And time starts when I hit skip here. So 3, 2, 1, go. So first things first. That thing I was doing right there is a form of animation cancelling. Instead of walking, which is like really slow, we're gonna start a combo. It's an XXY combo, and that gives you a lot of forward momentum. And then we're gonna cancel a combo with a jump, and cancel the jump with a slash. And that gives us this form of movement, which is actually like way faster than walking. Just we're gonna get dash like right now, so it's gonna become slip. But just in this like small section, it takes around 4 seconds over normal walking. And this is dash. Now, dashing is usually gated by like 2 things. You can usually dash like this. First of all, there's an animation, so dashing actually looks like this. But, like all the things we're doing, we're just gonna be canceling animation. In this case, we're gonna be using a ground slash, like a crouch slash. And that's gonna allow us to dash immediately after. Like once the dash ends, we just slash, and we immediately can dash again. And the second one will be stamina, but since we're playing on casual difficulty, which is the lowest one, like it's the easiest difficulty, we have infinite stamina. Stamina is usually like the white bar you can see up there. But yeah, you can see that it instantly refills. And now right here, we may find a red barrier, which are the progression force. And I need a bit of focus here. I'm gonna try to skip a cutscene. Technically you can't do that, but there's like a frame where you actually can. Like that, yeah. That's really not intended because this cutscene is like a tutorial for the skill that we just got. But there's a frame in which the game knows that it started a cutscene, but it doesn't know that it's a tutorial. So if you snipe the frame using the mouse to buffer, you can actually skip the cutscene. It's like around 30 seconds time saver if you do it like first try. And right here, you see I went down and immediately back up. That's actually kind of intended. Like the game's supposed to actually zoom you into enemies. But we're just gonna abuse it really hard around the run. You're seeing me go around collecting stuff. That's actually, when there's an 90% category, we're gonna need a lot of money. And the best way of doing so is just collecting these keys because they sell for 750 a piece. This room has another red barrier, which are like I said, the hangings are like kinda hack and slash. So it kinda intends you to kill enemies. It's completely random, I actually got it. That's good RNG right there. And I just got this skill. This skill is the most powerful skill we have. It's the aerial dust storm. And what I'm doing right now is the same thing I was doing in the ground with dash, except it's on the air. I'm simply using the skill I just got to cancel it. It's actually much faster than doing it on the ground because you can cancel the dash earlier, so you can input more dashes faster. I'm gonna need this chicken. Yeah, like that. And that barrier, that wall, you can only blow it up. You can actually destroy it like I destroyed the first one because it's a yellow wall. Yellow walls can only be blown up by bombs like those two that you saw. Normally we'll try to carry that bomb, but it's fine. Right here I'm gonna have to bait the slime. This slime, I'm gonna have to bait him and wait a bit so that I don't get this red barrier. And right now this is basically the end of the area. There's like a couple of cutscenes to skip here, and then we're immediately gonna be on what will be usually the area room boss, but we have a way around that. And the thing is that just like we can animation cancel like normal attacks that I've been doing, even though I didn't really say it because I didn't get a chance, we can cancel like air attacks. And what that actually means is that we have this form of infinite jumping. Because every time you do an attack on the air, you get extra height, and then you just cancel it and input again the same attacks. And you just cancel it forever, and you can fly over triggers like I did there and skip bosses, and you can just like get infinite height, which is something we're gonna do like a lot in the run actually. We're gonna be abusing infinite height like constantly, simply because the game's not designed to have infinite height. I mean, there's not really like, I don't wanna say it's unintended because it's like animation cancelling, so it's not really a big glitch. It's definitely not like programmed to actually have infinite height. Right here, this is Aurora village. This is actually one village that we're gonna be in. And usually it was like a breather room kind of segment, but now there's a glitch inside of this. So there's actually a fair amount to explain. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna glitch up the shop. Like I said, I was collecting keys to actually shop stuff. Now we have a glitch that allows us to buy one extra item. So that's actually pretty useful. The route actually kind of changed like that. And the way the glitch works is that you select to buy something, and then you switch category. And then the game's like, he's buying something, but it allows you to buy from the other category. Kind of like this. I don't know if I'll get it first try. It's actually kind of hard. Boom. I need to actually time stuff correctly. Like that, yeah. That's actually kind of hard. And now I'm just gonna push this NPC like out of the area. If you talk with him, it starts his dialogue and it allows us to skip a cutscene. The glitch that I just performed actually allowed me to buy 90 pistons instead of 9. And it's actually gonna be interesting because we're gonna be using the map a lot. This thing I'm gonna do right now is called warping. And it just allows us to go to any room in the map. So effectively we're like skipping basically the entire game by using warps. The way it works is that if you center a room and then like hold the mouse and select the area, you just go to the room that was centered. And this thing I'm doing right now is actually a pretty big sequence break. Like normally you're supposed to have wall climb to go up these vines, but instead what we're doing is that we're just abusing infinite height to get this augment. This is like a mid-game augment, mid to late game, so this is actually gonna like bump our attack from like I believe it's like 6 to 154. It's like a huge increase, and it's gonna allow us to one-shot things on both this area and the next one. And it's gonna make bosses much faster than they usually will be. Right now I'm just gonna perform another warp from this point. That's why we need like teleport stones. Those things allow you to teleport if you have the stones. And with this, we're in chapter 2. Technically I could have come here without getting the augment, but like the augment is just so much faster. It makes the run go from like, I don't know what it would be, probably like an hour to like 17 minutes or so. So we're record right now. That thing I did there, that was actually, there's usually a cutscene here, you actually saw the start of it. But if you time your XP correctly, like you count your XP, you can actually get a level up explosion and it like puts you back to the other room and you skip the cutscene effectively. Right now I'm just heading to the next teleport section, and usually warps are really straightforward, like what I did there. Oh, I can manage it. Like what I've been doing, but here actually we're gonna take a detour. This is a new strat. It was found like, I don't know, a month or two ago. That's not the right warp. It was found like a month or two ago, and it was actually, like the game came out in 2013. So it actually is really new. That's actually the right warp. And the idea is that we're gonna head to this exit. And then we're just gonna exit through here and warp, like do the usual warp. And what that's gonna do is that the game is gonna get really confused because it's gonna try to put us on like transition. And the transition, there's supposed to be like a holder. Oh, let's try again. But yeah, the game's gonna try to put us on a transition that doesn't exist. And what that's gonna do is that it's gonna like, yeah, that's better. What that's gonna do is that it's gonna basically default to our coordinates, like the coordinates we're on right now, but in the room that we warp to. So that's gonna put us right next to Slide. If I don't mess it up, I'm notorious for missing this one. I didn't, nice. So now we have Slide. The Slide allows us to obviously slide through these things and to do this form of movement called slide boosting. That's the fastest form of movement we have, but since we really need a ledge, because we need to dash off a ledge, we're not really gonna use it too much, even though it's actually really cool. And right now I'm just gonna warp to the final boss. Well, it's not the final boss, it's the boss of the area. Can I actually not fall, please? Thank you. We're gonna warp to the boss of the area, and yeah, first we're gonna take the detour to warp like straight to it instead of having to go around. And like that. Yeah. So, this boss actually, if you play the game casually, you probably remember this boss, because like, she flies around and she has projectiles, it's actually really annoying to beat. But what we're gonna do is like, we're just gonna like sit here pretty, and she can do anything. Her AI just kinda breaks. So what we do is just we instantly kill her, and she's stuck in this state. Like that. That's the boss. You actually saw me like stop attacking her for a second there. If you attack her like too quickly, I believe it's around 19 hits, she just kind of breaks free because she gets iframes. But if you stop, she never gets those iframes, so you can just keep going. There's a cutscene here. Yeah, I skipped it. And right now, this is just like a cutscene segment. There's gonna be a lot of plot developments, but we've kind of escaped the entire plot with warping, so it's not like I can really explain it at this point or anything. So if you wanna like read donations or anything, now's the time.
Do we have some time for a donation?
Yeah.
Okay, we have a $20 donation from Murtag saying, "Hey, Crit, Murtag here. So excited to watch you destroy dust at ESA. We're all cheering you on from the Discord. Just don't reset in the Glade, okay? Good luck, dude."
I didn't reset in the Glades, that's something. And Murtag's a guy who like was 13th like a month ago or so, actually 3 weeks. And then suddenly he came back and he currently holds world record in like 3 weeks. That was actually so amazing to see the improvement. It's actually giving me a lot of competition right now. So cutscenes are done. We're about to exit this area. Next area is called Soaring Meadow. It's a really long area, it's like over half the one direction actually. And right now I'm gonna boost like this. That's actually intended even though it doesn't look like it. There's a lot of places that you can't really reach if you don't do that kind of boost of enemies. Can I please? Thank you. Kill this guy and exit. Sometimes when you exit to the map there's this cutscene. That guy is actually a final boss, the guy with the big sword and the soldier. I mean, there's like actually plot developments in these cutscenes, but once again, it's kind of a bit too late to explain the plot right now, taking into account warpings, I think. So in this area, the point of the area is actually to collect 4 items. But we're not even gonna get tasked with the quest, we're just gonna start collecting them immediately with warping. The way it will work actually is that you go to an NPC and she tells you that she like lived here and she knows the final, like the boss of this area, which is like a ghost that's supposed to be chasing you here. We never actually see him because warping just allows us to run him like really hard. He never actually gets a chance to show up on the screen until we go to kill him. And the idea is to collect those 4 items and then she has a way of making him vulnerable. Instead of like, well, he's in these mansions, he's actually like supposed to be a ghost, so you can't really hit him. Mansions are supposed to be, since like the guys chasing you, you're supposed to be kind of like a small labyrinth. It's not really so that you get lost, but so that movement is tricky and the boss can actually catch you. It actually does quite a lot of damage and any difficulty is not the one we're on. So we're just gonna keep warping around, doing mostly movement, and collecting said items. Right here I'm gonna get the wall climb, so now it's gonna actually get the attack augment that I got. But which means that we actually don't do as much damage anymore, and since we still have like animation cancelling. This way of attacking, for example, like what I'm doing right now, it's not really intended. What I'm doing is starting a combo and then cancelling it with a crouch slash. So we get a lot of DPS that way, so we still do quite a bit of damage, even if our damage output isn't as high anymore, like it's not unintended anymore. And right now, once I exit this, which is right here, I'm gonna do a different form of warping. It's basically the same, but I jump first, like, no, not like that, like that. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna put me on top of the room instead of down in the room, one there. And that prevents a soft lock basically. If I warp here without doing that, I will actually be stuck like right on the bottom of the room, on the bottom, completely bottom. And the game doesn't really want to avoid me out because I just got into a room, but it doesn't let me move either because I'm not really inside the room. So it will soft lock, but instead we can just do that nifty-gritty thing and just be fine. And I'm just gonna boost up these enemies. And there's a bomb here. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get the bomb strat. I hope so, but I'm pretty bad at it. It says like half a second, so it's not really important. Can I please? I think that's too high. No, that works. Yeah, it's just destroy the pillar instantly. Boost up these enemies and get inside. Now we're heading to the last mansion. Last mansion is actually a bit different because the exit is actually like closed off at the beginning. So we're gonna have to do 2 warps instead of only 1. We're gonna have to do a first warp to actually open the exit, and then a second one to be able to collect the item. Like that, maybe? Yeah. Kinda like this, and now we just grab this bomb and hope this strat works. Yeah, that's actually fine. So we just break this pillar, which is gating the entrance. You can see the entrance right there. And then we go back to warping. Actually, this warp is a bit weird. It's not the warp, it's the room we warp to. Because the room's actually kinda empty when you warp to it. or when you enter like through normal means. But you can like, oh, that's actually the mansion itself. I need to go one more right. I could have just continued answer the boss, but like may as well just do this. Yeah, that's the room I was talking about. You need to like actually exit it and then enter it again for that door to spawn. It's not really because of warping, it's just how the game's done. And there's a red bar in this room, which is completely, it's not completely random, but it has a heavy element apparently, so I don't know if I'm gonna get baited by it. I did. Basically, if these guys spawn too close, or the beasts come with you, you get gated by that, and you just have to deal with them. It's like, I don't know, maybe 5 seconds. That should work, yeah. So, now that we have all 4 items, we've actually kind of beaten the area, and we are just gonna go back to the NPC that was supposed to task us with the quest, even though she didn't because we skipped her. And just deliver the items to her so we can actually kill the boss. Just one more warp. This is actually the final warp of the, not of the run, but like of the area. And the final boss is actually kind of really annoying because he has like 2 attacks and then he can also spawn enemies. We definitely don't want him to spawn enemies, that's the worst thing he can do. And then he has like swipe attacks and stomp attacks. Swipe attacks are actually something we have to dodge. Stomp attacks usually he just misses because he's not like too smart, I guess. So the way we're gonna be doing is dodging those and trying to stand still on this. He has 80k health, so it's actually animation canceling makes it doable with this amount of damage. But usually casually you'll want a bit more. In Warpless actually, since we don't have to work, oh it's funny, it's really bad. Yep. Actually, I don't want to die, so I'm just gonna quit this. Dying Marathon was really bad. We're gonna change difficulty right before killing the last hit, and when that does, is that if we're in casual difficulty, which is the one we're on right now, the game auto assigns like level up stats. Since it's a hack and slash game, technically, it has level up stats, and it like assigns it to like health, defense, stuff like that. But we don't want that. We want it all to go into attack, of course, because like it makes killing things easier and faster usually. That's how attack works in games. So we just change difficulty, and now it's gonna actually give us like level up gems, and we can assign those into attack as soon as we hit level 8, which is something we're gonna do as soon as we exit this, like as soon as we do chapter 4. Chapter 4 is usually like really long. It's really pretty because it's like a snowy area and stuff, and it's very vertical too. So it's a different way of playing the game. But we're actually, there's no real gate or anything. Like in the previous area, there was a gate, like we had to collect like 4 stuff. Here we can just like go straight up on the map and just select that room, and we're in the end. This is where the plot actually gets like completely unraveled and explained. Technically you have like amnesia at the beginning of the game, and this is where it all gets solved. But we're just gonna be skipping cutscenes because cutscenes are long, skipping them is fast. So if you have time, another noise or anything, now's the time too.
Yeah, of course. So we have a $10 donation by Weeb Doggo saying, "Can't wait for the Ori and the Blind Forest run. Shout out to Moon's chats."
So right now, I'm gonna do another text rush like I did at the beginning. I don't know if you remember, so I'll explain again. You just like push an NPC out of the map and then talk with him, and that allows us to talk with the NPC instead of watching a run. Watching a cutscene, sorry. So I'm just gonna push this one. It's actually a different NPC so that I get XP. Every time you talk with a new NPC, they give XP to you. So you like push him out and talk with him. And I'm entering, this is the final like area. After this, I'm actually just gonna warp to the final boss after taking a small detour. So this is basically like almost in the front. I just come here. If you remember, I've been taking this detour a while. I just like get hide from there and then warp to the final boss, like here. And that just puts me right on the trigger for the 4th phase. So I just skip like 3 phases of the final boss, and I'm like right at the end. All I have to do is actually kill him. He has 60k health, and he has a very annoying habit of that. Exactly that. He can just parry you randomly. We've been looking into it, we don't really know if it's like frame rate dependent, maybe it is. But yeah, it's basically almost random. Once I actually kill this guy though, that's basically the end of the run. There's like the standard Metroidvania thing where you hold right. But we're actually gonna skip that too. In a way that I'll actually explain now because there's not much going on. Aside from the fact that I can actually clip the guy out of bounds, just word of warning, just in case it happens. It's very rare, but it actually happened on practice, so I may as well just get it out of the way. You can click him onto that ceiling. But the way we're gonna skip like the crawling section is that I made a save file. I didn't really explain it because I was busy explaining warping and the way we were getting the first augment. But yeah, on the first area, or on the second area technically, I made a save file on the map. And what that's gonna do is that the game doesn't know where that save file is because you're not supposed to be able to save on the map. So instead, the game is gonna like default to putting us in the room we are instead of in that room, but in the coordinates we save. So that's just gonna allow us to, if we load the save file twice, we have to load it twice because the game thinks we're on the, like, at first it thinks we're on the ground and we really don't want to be on the ground. So we load it twice, and then the game just allows us to float and skip the crawling. The crawling section is actually really small, but it's so slow that this just saves like 10 seconds by doing so. It's just that slow. So right here, after the screen actually clears, I'll actually get control and be able to. Right here, I just load the save file. Oh, I actually, yeah, it's right here, slot 8. And load it again. And what that does is puts me flying, and I can just head over to him at normal speed, like that, and that's time. Oh, that's the wrong thing. So yeah, that was last Elysian Tail. It's a short run, like you can see. It's actually really accessible. If you wanna run the game, we have the Discord and everything, so just shoot us a message or anything. So thanks to Jake for being here, moral support, I guess.
Yeah.
That was a great run, and now we have quite a few donations. Oh,